This lesson today is 6-7 simple interest. So interest is money paid or earned for the use of money. Now, the principal is the amount of money that's borrowed or deposited. So interest is interesting. Interest is interesting because interest is the money that you pay for borrowing it, but it's also money that can be paid to you for the money that you deposit into the bank. So you can earn interest or you can have to pay interest. So this lesson is really the way to calculate interest. And we'll talk in class a little bit about the difference between compound and compound interest and things like that. So, okay. So the formula is I equals PRT, where your I is your interest, your P is your principal, your T is your interest in decimal form, and then your time is in years. So I is interest, P is the principal, the principal is the amount of money that you are either borrowing or the amount of money that you put into the bank. R is your percentage rate of interest, the rate that you're given, written as a decimal. You have to write that as a decimal. And T is time in years. So if you're given months, you have to divide that by 12 to get years. Okay? Okay. Let's look at this first example. It says you put $500 in a savings account. The account earns 3% simple interest per year. What is the interest rate after 3 years? What is the balance after 3 years? Okay, so you're going to start by writing down the formula, I equals PRT, and then you have to find your information that's important, and you have $500, 3% interest in 3 years. Okay, so we have 500 times 0.03 times 3. So 500 is my principal, the 0.03 is my interest rate, 3 divided by 100. And then the 3 is years. Sorry, excuse me. And then you multiply the 3 things together and you end up with 45 as your interest. So what you have to do then is take, because they want to know what your total is going to be that you pay, so you have to take that 500, your initial principal, and add $45 to that, and then you end up with $545. That's how much you would have to pay it all back. Okay? So interest is the amount of money you essentially pay to use somebody else's money. And they then earn that money for borrowing it to you. It goes both ways. Okay, here's another example. In this example, it says you put $1,000 in an account. The account earns 100 simple interest in 4 years. What is the annual interest rate? Okay, so you start again with your formula, I equals PRT. $100 is what I earned in interest. And $1,000 was my principal, and it's in 4 years. So the 100 goes under interest this time. The 1,000 is your principal. The years is 4, but we don't know the rate, so that stays R. And then what you're going to do is simplify and multiply 1,000 times 4, and you're going to get 4,000 R. And then you're going to divide both sides by 4,000 to get your variable loan. And you end up with a 0 right here. There should be another 0 right here. Sorry about that. And you end up with R equaling 0.025. So you have to divide by 100 to turn it into a percent, or move the decimal over twice. You end up with 2.5%. Okay. what I'd like you to do is I would like you to do number 2. Pause your computer and do number 2 and then come back. When you come back, we'll go through it. Okay, number 2 says you put $350 in your account. The account earns you $17.50 simple interest in 2.5 years. What's the annual interest rate? So again, I equals PRT. Your principal is $350 that you put in your account. The rate was 2.5 years, and the 1750 was how much money you earned, so that's your interest. So it's 1750 under the I for interest, 350 under the P for principal, and our years is 2.5, so it is R times 2.5. So you simplify, 1750 equals 350 times 2.5 is 875, so 875R. You then divide both sides by 875 to get your variable loan, and you end up with 0.02. But then you have to multiply that times 100, and you end up then with 2%, and that would be your answer. If you got that right, you can move on. If not, you really do need to go rewatch, because you're going to have to do several problems like this. So I need to make sure that you understand what you're doing. So go back and rewatch the portion that you need to rewatch. Okay, finding the amount of time. A bank offers 3 savings accounts. The simple interest rate is determined by the principal. How long does it take an account with a principal of $800 to earn $100 in interest? So you're going to do the same thing this time. You're going to write down your formula. You're going to plunk in the values you know, substitute 100 for the I, 800 for the P, and 0.02 by taking the 2% and dividing by 100 for the R. And then the only thing you're going to have left is the T. And that T then is your time. So you simplify to get 100 equals 16T. And then you have to divide both sides by 16 to get that variable loan. So 6.25 is your time. So 6.25 years, or 6 years and 3 months. That would be your answer. Okay? All right. One more problem. So here you're borrowing $600 to buy a violin. The simple interest of the rate is 15%. To pay off the loan, you pay off the loan after 5 years. How much do you pay for the loan? So you start with your formula, I equals PRT. Look at what you have. The 600 is your principal. The 15% is your rate, so you have to divide by 0.15, or divide by 100 to get 0.15, and then the years is 5. So all you have to do then is multiply. So you end up with $450 is your interest. But it asks you how much do you pay for the loan, so you have to take that $450, add it to 600 to get $1,050 is how much you would pay total for the loan. Okay, I want you to pause your computer and do number 4. And number 4 deals with this example up here that we just did. Okay. In example 4, you pay off the loan after 2 years. How much money do you save? Okay, so you still have to do your formula, I equals PRT. Your principal is still 600. Your rate is still 15%, so 0.15 as a decimal. But now instead of it being paid off in 5 years, it's going to be paid off in 2. So you change your 5 to a 2. You then multiply and you get $180. Well, that's not our total answer, because we need to find out what we saved. So you have to take the answer from up above, the 450, and subtract it from the 80, or 180. Or other way around, sorry, 450 and subtract 180 from it to find out how much you save. And the amount you save is $270. Okay? So just because it's easy to put those numbers in and multiply, that's simple. But you're going to have to do something with that to solve a problem. So make sure that you are prepared to do that. Okay? All right. So for what I would like you to do for tomorrow, or for Monday, or well, I don't know, for the next class, is I would like you to solve number 5, number 9, and number 13. 5, 9, and 13 using the interest formula. Make sure you show all of this process so that I can follow your understanding, because we'll be doing more with this on Monday, or no, on our next class period. So, okay?